When 3 different animals become infected with a dangerous pathogen, The Rock must stop the giant beast from destroying Chicago. This is Rampage! Rampage is based on the video game Rampage, about monsters destroying the city. Literally, the point of this game is to run around as monsters, destroying everything in sight and eating people in order to gain points. The movie tries to go a bit deeper than that by setting up a relationship between The Rock and George, who is an albino gorilla. The relationship between The Rock and George is the exact same story as the story between Charlize Theron and Mighty Joe in the 1998 Disney movie Mighty Joe Young, right down to the backstory, and coincidentally also about a giant gorilla as well. I guess you could call it Mighty George Young. The Rock and George communicate through sign language, making for some amusing moments. The relationship between these two is the only thing that tries to make you care about what is happening in the movie. The Rock brings his usual charisma, and George is a fun character brought to life with some pretty solid CGI. George as a character is actually the most interesting personality in the movie, and his plight arguably overshadows that of The Rock. Unfortunately, all the other characters in the movie are about as complex as the game that this movie is based on. Naomi Harris plays a genetic scientist who's basically just a mouthpiece for exposition. Marilyn Ackerman is an evil CEO of this evil corporation of evilness. And she also has a doofy brother, so there's that. And of course, there's Jeffrey Dean Morgan as a cowboy government agent. I know he's a cowboy government agent because he mentions he's a cowboy at least 75 times in the movie. And then lastly, of course, is the obligatory no-nonsense military commander, because every single movie needs one of those. And that's it for the rest of the two-dimensional, unfunny, and uninteresting characters. Oh, and there's several characters set up in the beginning of the movie that are never mentioned or seen again, as if they were just thrown in to eat up some screen time. I will have to say that the opening of this movie was really great and had me thinking that maybe I underestimated this film because it was a video game movie. We open up with a really cool tense scene on a space station that gave me flashbacks to Alien. Unfortunately, that awesome beginning is as good as the movie gets until the monster throwdown at the end, but even so, the tones don't really even match up, and it's almost as if they're from two different films completely. Rampage is a B-monster film that halfway through the movie commits to what it is. It is something that you might see on the Sci-Fi Channel, except with some solid CGI and The Rock to elevate it to silver screen status. Rampage's director is Brad Peyton, and this film makes his third team up with The Rock after Journey 2 and San Andreas. So if you enjoyed those films, you'll enjoy Rampage because it's a very similar style. This is a video game movie, so the bar for Rampage is incredibly low because 95% of video game movies are awful. For video game films, Rampage is among the best, but that doesn't mean it's a good movie. The only other video game film I can put in the top 5% of not completely sucking are Mortal Kombat, Prince of Persia, and Tomb Raider. I think that's about it, and even those are not that great. However, because Rampage is a more focused film and its absurdity, I enjoyed it more than the last giant monster movie that was released this year, Pacific Rim 2. Rampage is better than Pacific Rim 2. I would not have guessed that in 2017, but here in 2018, that's a thing. I think that if Rampage had maintained the idea presented in the games of normal citizens transforming into monsters, we could have had a more interesting film with plenty of monster destruction spread throughout the movie instead of having to wait till the very end for the full monster showdown. It might have also given us some more solid characters we could care about outside of George. So in the end, if you want some dumb fun, Rampage might be the movie for you. So I'm going to go ahead and give Rampage 6 Rampage monsters out of 10.